Hello, welcome back. This is not the final build, but this is it as I'm gonna run it until more parts come in. What I left off on talking about was this front bumper piece. I decided to remove it because it was interfering with the steering servo, because the mount I have pushes the servo as far forward as it can go. So there is zero interaction between servo and motor when you're at full droop, and there's extra room. But at first I thought, oh, I'm not gonna need to do the links, but my rear end sat, like the center of the axle sat right there, and it just didn't look quite right to me. I think it looks better now. I don't quite like putting it on the roof. It's brand new, doesn't have any scratches, so let's get the body off of this thing. It's a little bit of a trick to get it off, but once you figure it out, it's kind of easy. So we can actually power this unit back on. Well, not back on. Power this unit up. Let's grab the power plug. The remote is on, so you can get an idea. I already did a lay down servo conversion with my own steering setup. I've got a gearing ratio that I love. And oh crap. And this chassis is just wonderful. My biggest issue now is suspension. I need to order new suspension, but that's okay. That can be done. Let me get the body on this and show y'all. Alright guys, this is the trx4m mb18 fully powered on. I really like those ambers up front with the blue, with the LEDs up top. I think it looks quite nice. It's going to end up with a set of wheels, inserts, and different tires. It's getting brass wheels because it kind of needs it. It doesn't want to flex. There's a lot of flex in it. It just doesn't want to because this suspension, I don't know if you can tell, but it is marred up and scarred up from where somebody put it together incorrectly and where I've had to do a bunch of modifications to it. I've opted to not run the spare back here to keep as much weight forward as possible. I have nothing back here weight wise. The battery is now. I'm going to take the body off and explain my biggest issue with this chassis kit. So my biggest issue with this chassis kit, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it, is getting that battery out. Okay, they expect you to squeeze your battery out of there, and do they expect that to hold your battery? I mean, I have Velcro strips, so I mean, it'd be a task, just a slight bit of a task to get it out. Just kind of run a finger in there, and I mean, but you see, like, even if it wasn't Velcro, that is a task to get the battery out. And I even cut my tray to where it's easier. Hold on. I had to pause because I had to pull the battery out. It took two hands. I choose to put a Velcro strip on the bottom because I don't trust the way they tell you to set the battery tray up. They tell you just kind of have it in there, and then you just kind of wiggle your battery through here and wedge it in there. I've got a Velcro strip down there, so it'll hold on to my battery, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. I don't like that that's how the battery has to be held down. Like you can't pass it through here, which would be kind of nice if they made just enough space to pass the battery through there, just right through there. That way you could get it in there and then slide it back. That would be nice. But there's no passageway. Oops, I dropped this. This is my biggest issue with this chassis so far, is the battery. It's either leave the battery permanently in your rig or set it up like I do with a Velcro strip and a cut battery tray. Now I cut the whole back brace off the battery tray, but if you do that, then the battery's going to fall out. But if you don't do that, then you can't get your battery out. So I put a Velcro strip, problem solved. I do this because I want to run different milliamp hours and different batteries. I plan on running a different system in the future, but I want the battery to be in the same location, that nice low to the ground battery location. I want it to remain there. So I mean, that's the biggest issue so far, and I had never heard anybody say anything about the battery trays, but even with the extended links, even with some long travel shocks, let's show how difficult, how much of a task it is. See if I can do it one-handed and show how much of a task it is to get a battery in there. Okay, so you gotta. Oh, crap. Now, mind you, if you don't have a Velcro strip, it's likely just going to slide out and then get caught up in this stuff. And then once you have it installed, you then have to take your battery cable, run it up here, do this, and then you can power on your truck. Then you can take this body with a not so easy body. I keep cutting because it's not the easiest to put on, but you have these two clips up front that you kind of make sure clip in. You have to have the lights pretty much folded all the way down, otherwise the top doesn't go in. You get the top in, and you can kind of see there's a little lever right here. Little lever right here that you push over, and that locks the body on. The two clips that in the prior video I complained about the mounting points, I don't feel like this body is going to last very long on there, and I feel like I'm going to be running raw chassis, but I'm fine with running raw chassis. It's just I kind of expected more out of it. It looks really good. Just more reinforcement around, just more material in that area. Just make it a bigger pad that you screw into. That way it doesn't crack or fray. And make the same thing with the roof mount. Make it a bigger pad. That way it doesn't crack or fray. I mean, there's simple things that could be done to improve the strength of this body. I mean, and there's things that I'll probably do. I'll probably, hold on. We'll pull the body off and I will quickly explain. I'll probably epoxy around each one of those, making sure that they retain, full stock functionality, like that, making like epoxy around that thin ass little post down there, just to make it a little bit stronger. Epoxy around that thin ass post down there, and that one, just to make sure they're just a little bit stronger. I know, I mean, it's it's no indestructible body, but like I feel like if the points that hold the body to the chassis are that weak, then this strong of a body, there's no point in having a body that strong. You might as well have it Lexan. That's my main complaint with this, besides the battery. The battery is kind of annoying. So you've either got to have a permanent to your truck battery, which is dangerous if you roughhouse and bash, because then, like, I mean, if you got lipo fire, your truck is, I mean, like, it's toast. You're not getting that battery out in time. Charging it, not that big of a deal because you can kind of hang that out and charge it. But I like to be able to take the battery in and out of my rigs when I'm not running them, and when they're sitting on my shelf. I like to not have the batteries in them. That way, just in case, God forbid, something happens, there's not a battery in the rig and it doesn't burn out in my truck. All of my batteries stay stored in the safe. So I don't like that this one is either permanent battery or annoyingness. That and the body mounting system, they need some work there. Other than that, like, I don't know, I'd give the chassis a solid 7 out of 10. I had to take the front winch bumper plate off because it didn't clear my servo, but I also have a different servo and servo mount than the one they provided, so maybe if I want to use the one they provided I wouldn't have had an issue, but I like the one I have because it gives me the most space between my motor and my extremely long servo. Anyways, the next video will be this thing on the rocks, showing how it actually performs. I need to get new shocks for it, but I'm still gonna run it as is with these crappy shocks and lightweight wheels. I have a set of brass wheels I might throw on just for fun to see how it runs. Anyways, if you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I do stuff like this and real tractor, like real stuff builds. I recently got a John Deere and a Sears tractor to build, so those will be new build series on my channel. And this thing, I meant to record a lot more, but I had phone storage issues. But it was a blast to build the chassis. If you don't mind, I mean, there is, I don't know, probably like 80 tiny screws you've got to put in. I didn't mind it, but that's because I knew what I was going to get out of it. I knew I was going to get performance over a Defender with the stock chassis rails. So, like I said, if you like the video, please leave a like. If you got any recommendations as to a paint scheme or color that I could paint this, I ordered the white on purpose. That way I could choose the color or color it myself or just leave it white. I don't know. If you have any recommendations for that, leave a comment. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for checking this build out. It's not fully done. This is part 2 of I don't even know how many, because I have transmission gears, a skid plate, differential gears. I have all sorts of stuff coming in, and I'm going to do small videos on all of that. So I hope you enjoy watching, and I hope you watch along as I build this thing.